I asked AI to get me as many streams as possible. And for a music creator that just clicked on this video, why should they keep watching and stay to the end?
Because we're cutting through the noise. If you're serious about boosting your streams, stick around. I'm sharing real, actionable strategies that independent artists can use right now to get noticed, get heard, and get those numbers climbing. No fluff, just the good stuff.
Okay, so I guess just starting out with, step one. Let's say you're a music artist and you've established yourself as far as you've put music out there, right? You've had at least 10 songs, let's say, that are out, and let's say even a couple of them have resonated with people. From there, what do? We're trying to get streams on it. We're stuck under that less than 1,000 stream mark on Spotify, or we're just not at all satisfied where we're at. What do?
All right, so you've got a solid base with some tracks out there, a few that have connected. First, let's leverage what's already working. Identify which songs resonated and why. Was it a specific sound, lyrics, or vibe? Double down on those elements in your content. Next, optimize your profiles across platforms. High quality visuals, consistent branding, and updated bios. Then, engage your current audience. Get them involved in challenges, remixes, or behind the scenes content. Finally, consider strategic collaborations. Other indie artists, playlist curators, or even influencers who align with your style. The goal is to amplify what's already working and build from there.
Okay, so I guess just starting out where you said you want to double down on what's working. That's kind of the step one of that. I picked up on it, and correct me if I'm wrong. So from there, how do you even ask your audience? Let's say you don't even really have that much of an audience to pick from, but even if it is just a handful, you just got a few to choose from. How do you even engage them and get that type of data back?
Great question. Even with a small audience, engagement can be powerful. Start by creating a sense of community. Use social media polls, Instagram stories, or Twitter threads to ask simple questions about their favorite tracks, what they liked, or what they want to see more of. Offer something in return, maybe a shout out or exclusive content to encourage responses. The key is to make them feel valued and heard. Once you get a few responses, you'll have insights to guide your next steps. And remember, it's all about building those relationships, even if it's just a handful of people.
Okay, so I'm thinking like there are so many different nuances of what somebody can like or pick up from a song. Let's say, are we doing like a multiple choice? You said a poll, and are we saying which did you like the best, the chorus or the verse? And if it's the verse, is it verse 1 or verse 2? You know what I'm saying? Are we picking it apart like that, or is it more like, is it the mood? Is it the topic that we're talking about in the song? You know what I'm saying? Like which bit of information are we picking apart, or is it kind of, all of the above?
It can definitely be a mix, but start simple. For example, if you're running a poll, keep the options broad: mood, lyrics, or vibe. Once you get a sense of what stands out, you can go deeper with follow-up questions. If your audience is small, a direct approach can work wonders. Ask them in DMs or comments what they liked most. Keep it conversational, not like a survey. The goal is to get enough feedback to spot patterns and use that to shape your next move. And remember, it's all about building those relationships, even if it's just a handful of people.
Okay, cool. I'm definitely getting a better feel for that. And then from there, just remind me what is the next step after you've kind of figured out what's working, you double down on that. Where do we go from there?
Once you've identified what resonates, the next step is amplification. Take that successful element and build a campaign around it. This could mean creating more content that highlights that sound or vibe, or even a series of posts telling the story behind it. Next, get strategic with your releases. Stagger them to maintain momentum. Consider pitching your tracks to playlist curators, and not just the big ones. Niche playlists can be gold mines. Lastly, keep engaging with your audience. Every comment, share, and interaction boosts visibility and builds loyalty. Keep the momentum going with a consistent presence.
I mean, I definitely agree as far as you want to engage with your fans. And get as much of a bond with them as possible. You want to reply back to comments and reply back to DMs, and that'll actually give you the leverage to even DM them and it not feel weird where you're saying, hey, which part of my song do you like the most? The vibe, the lyrics, or the topic? You know what I'm saying? Where it's not a weird thing to actually do because you're already creating that type of connection with them. However, I guess the part that kind of I want to push back on a little bit is the playlist part. There's so many ways. Of course, we want to get as many streams as possible, but how many times have we heard a playlist get shut down or an artist account, God forbid, gets taken down, the music gets taken down because of bots? You know what I mean? It's very scary to go down the playlist route. And from where I've seen personally, from the success that I've had on my own music, it's yes, playlists are awesome because now, you know what I mean? Once it pops off, they'll add it to their playlist and more people will add it to theirs once they've heard it on that original playlist. That's awesome. But when it's an organic thing, that's when I've personally found it to be a lot more helpful as opposed to going on some of these sites like Submit Hub or Playlist Push. And I guess I'm not talking shit about them. You know what I mean? I'm not trying to throw shade at them. I'm saying it seems more transactional. It seems like it's a higher chance of there might be some bot activity because they have some sort of, you know what I mean? They have an incentive in there that is obviously they get paid for when they get this shit. I don't know the exact details on how they would get paid, but you understand where I'm coming from, right? Like where this could be kind of a scary route to take as an artist, especially starting out.
I hear you, and that's a valid concern. The playlist route can be a double-edged sword. On one hand, it can massively boost visibility, but on the other, there's definitely a risk with bots or shady pay-to-play services. The key is to be discerning. Aim for genuine, niche playlists curated by real music lovers. Sometimes you can find these organically by networking with other indie artists or reaching out directly. It's about balance, pairing that playlist push with solid organic strategies, like the community engagement we talked about. And it's crucial to stay authentic. If something feels off, trust your gut. There are plenty of ways to grow streams without compromising your integrity or risking
Okay,
your
and I'm sorry to interrupt, but all right. Let's say the playlist, let's just take that off. Can we just take it off the table? Because I don't, let's just, we can even have a conversation about that later. But for right now, let's set up like a hypothetical so we can think of the artist that we're speaking to. This is an artist that wants to shy away from doing a playlist. They would prefer more of a grassroots organic way, especially with how much organic reach that you can actually get with just good content and doubling down on that. Of course, we don't want to get into the fluff as you said earlier where we're just saying make more content, do more of that, post on other platforms. You know what I mean? That's kind of like duh. Before we get back to the conversation with AI to get you as many streams as possible, my goal with the Indie Leverage channel is to make it the number one network for artists. And the only ask that I have for you is that you share it with somebody that might find this useful. It would definitely mean the world to me, and if they ended up getting some use out of it, it might even mean the world to them. So that's all I got for you. Let's get back to this talk with AI because you could just talk to it now and ask it to help you get as many streams as you can. Shit. But saying that you're that artist and you also don't have a huge budget where you're not trying to get one piece of content and run ads on it and convert people that way, because even that feels a little bit cheap, kind of like the playlist route. Is it is there a way to get around all of that? Again, I want to get as many streams as possible, and let's say by the end of the year, I'm looking to get millions of streams.
Got it. If we're focusing on purely organic strategies without ads or playlists, it's all about smart content and community building. One way is to focus on short form content: TikTok, Instagram Reels, YouTube Shorts. These platforms have insane reach potential. Create content that's authentic, relatable, and taps into trends without losing your unique voice. Collaborate with other indie artists or influencers for cross promotion. Also, storytelling is powerful. Share the journey behind your music, the ups and downs, and let people feel invested in your success. Lastly, consistency is key. Keep showing up, Keep engaging and keep refining your approach based on what resonates. Over time, that organic growth can snowball.
Okay. That I agree wholeheartedly with all that. I guess just looking at it from a pessimistic view, I guess. We're gonna get a little bit pessimistic, glass half empty approach to this. Like, man, that doesn't sound smart. That doesn't sound like the thing that I should do with my life. It's just hope for the chance that, you know what I mean, I eventually have some snowball that turns into an avalanche and everybody loves my music and this and that and all of that cool stuff. It's kind of like, you know what I mean, you could be real good at dribbling a basketball, doesn't mean you're going to play for the NBA. Some people will quit just because they know that the odds are stacked against them. And yes, of course, you still have the people that'll go just because they don't, you know, the same reason I guess you play the lottery. It's like it doesn't matter if the odds are stacked against you. I'm going to still take my shot. But assuming that you are the first type of person and you're looking at this like, yeah, it all sounds good, but still, I don't see this as a likely future for me. You feel me? What about that?
I get where you're coming from. The music industry can feel like a lottery, and it's easy to get discouraged. The truth is, there's no guaranteed formula for success, but there are ways to improve your odds. It's about finding fulfillment in the process, not just the outcome. If you're passionate about your music, focus on building genuine connections, enjoying the creative journey, and celebrating small wins along the way. Success might not look like millions of streams for everyone, but it could be a loyal fan base, meaningful collaborations, or just the joy of creating. The key is to define what success means to you and pursue it in a way that feels authentic and sustainable.
Mm, I definitely, I love that. That's well put. And despite you being AI, that was a very human response to how you should approach this. Again, not pushing back, but let's say we've already defined our goals. You know what I mean? We already know what we want. Success for me is millions of streams, millions of fans and listeners and all of the stuff, and not in a egotistical, you know what I mean, I want all the lights on me, but that kind of just comes with it, right? Let's say you have that artist that they want to shoot for the stars. Granted, yes, they may land on the moon and end up being happy that they can just play at their local club, you feel me, and just kind of have some sort of camaraderie with other musicians or whatever the hell is in their future. That's cool. But let's say right now we're talking to that artist that's hungry. They're ready. They want the streams. They want to do whatever it takes. So short form content, sign me up. What type of what platforms are we focusing on one platform, or are we trying to spread it out? Let's say we're starting kind of brand new where we have accounts set up on different platforms, but we're not really super active. What are we looking at in terms of that?
All right, for an artist hungry for those millions of streams, we want to hit the platforms with the most potential for organic reach. TikTok is a must. Its algorithm can catapult unknown artists to viral status overnight. Instagram Reels and YouTube Shorts are also powerful, offering massive reach and discoverability. Consistency is key. Regularly posting on these platforms will keep you in the algorithm's favor. Focus on content that's engaging, showcases your personality, and taps into current trends, but with your unique twist. Cross promotion between platforms can also help. Drive TikTok followers to your Instagram and vice versa. The goal is to create a flywheel effect where each piece of content fuels growth across all your channels.
Okay. So I mean, it feels like we could be sending a lot of mixed signals to our fans in that case then. If we're sending them from TikTok to Instagram or Instagram to YouTube or whatever the hell type of cross promotion, it seems like we're sending mixed signals if the ultimate goal is to say, go over to Spotify and stream my music. And of course, I don't like the approach where you're kind of shoving that down your fans' throat, where it's like, go stream my music, and you're kind of like, I don't know. I'm picturing like, like when you go to school and you have those little fundraisers where you got to get as many donations as possible, and then you get your parent to take it to work. You feel me? So it's like you're just that parent that's at work. It's like, hey, do you want to donate to my kid's little fucking thing? You know what I'm saying? Like that's the wrong way to approach music marketing in my eyes. But let's say we want to do, like, again, where do we go from there?
I totally get that. You don't want to come off like you're pushing too hard. The key is subtlety and value. Instead of just saying, stream my music, create content that naturally leads people there. For example, share behind the scenes clips, snippets of new tracks, or stories about your songs. Make your audience feel like they're part of the journey. Then, casually mention where they can hear the full track. It's less about direct calls to action and more about creating intrigue. Also, make sure your content is engaging enough that people want to follow you across platforms. That way, you're not pushing them, they're choosing to come along.
Okay, so how do you do that? So if you're not pushing them, are we actually putting out content specific on those platforms? Like if you want the behind the scenes, you know what I mean, the long form behind the scenes, you're gonna have to subscribe to my YouTube. If you want to see me go live, you're gonna have to follow me on Instagram. And I don't know, whatever. If you want a certain type of short form content, you have to go to TikTok. I don't know. You end up choosing, like, you gatekeep these different pieces of content, not necessarily with money, but by platform, to kind of give them an incentive to go to these different platforms. Is that what we're doing, or like, how do we approach that?
That's one approach, and it can work well. Offering exclusive content on each platform gives fans a reason to follow you everywhere. Another way is to create a content ecosystem where each piece hints at something more on another platform. For instance, a TikTok clip could tease a full music video on YouTube, while an Instagram post could hint at a live Q&A session. It's about creating a natural flow between platforms so fans feel compelled to follow you for the full experience. The key is to make each platform's content valuable on its own, while also hinting at more to discover elsewhere.
I like that. Okay, so it's not, that's actually even where you don't even have to think too much on it. All right, so we're doing short form content. Is that how we're going to drive most of the streams? I hear you keep saying uh like different types of content format. What other pieces of content should we do other than obviously music videos and clipping that up and performance videos and stuff like that? What are we looking at with?
Beyond the obvious, like music videos and performance clips, think about content that builds your brand and story. Behind the scenes footage is always a hit. Showing the making of a song or a day in your life connects fans to your process. You can also do Q&A sessions, sharing personal stories or even quick tutorials if that fits your vibe. Fan interaction content, like reacting to their covers, comments, or messages, can deepen that connection. And don't forget storytelling, mini documentaries, origin stories, or even sharing your inspirations. All these give fans more reasons to stick around and ultimately check out your music. Keep it varied but authentic to who you are.
Wow. Yeah, I didn't even think about that before. So as far as the replying to different fans DMs, that I've always thought that was one important just for that. But I always thought there was a little bit of something extra in there. Like I've screenshot different comments on YouTube, and I've used that in different videos and shit like that, kind of like a social proof type of thing. And giving back to the fans and almost putting the spotlight on them and recognizing them, that's one of those things where, like, I've always wanted to do. And my idea was always like, okay, how about you respond to it, or maybe even before you respond to it, take a screenshot of their original message, however you choose to do it, and then maybe throw it up on your story. And that's kind of like how I looked at it. And then, you could even, on Instagram, you could even put it in the what are they called? I'm blanking on the name, but the little story shelves that you can put all of your stories on, and just kind of have that, like, interaction, fan love type shit. But doing that, it's like, is actually making so much more content, as long as you are that type of artist. I was about to say that be on camera like that, but if you're just yourself, it doesn't even matter. You could be like chill or whatever. It doesn't even matter. That's dope. So you're saying, let's say they commented on your shit or they message you. You're saying don't respond to them. Respond to them actually, but then also read it out. Like walk me through how this would look because I like the direction that you're going.
Absolutely. So let's say a fan leaves a meaningful comment or sends a DM. You'd reply to them directly, but then you can take it a step further. Screenshot the comment or DM and share it on your Instagram story, giving the fan a shout out. You could also record a quick video reacting to their message, thanking them, and sharing your thoughts. This makes fans feel seen and appreciated, and it also shows others that you genuinely engage with your audience. For a more polished approach, you can compile these into a fan appreciation highlight on Instagram. This not only builds a stronger bond with your current fans, but also signals to potential fans that you're approachable and appreciative. It's a win-win. Fans get recognition, and you get authentic content.
Oh my God, that is genius. Like wow, like holy shit. Like, fuck, like, that's genius. That's genius. Talk about building a community, and now my gears are turning. So let's say from that you have a long form because I like the compilation route. Just to throw it out there. So you get, let's say you get I don't know 20 different DMs or comments, and you compile those just like you said, and you make that a long form piece of content on YouTube. From there, you could kind of just take 20 different clips from there too. And let's say you have a short form piece of content that goes out. And you might not put that on YouTube per se, but if these are DMs from Instagram, you could take that chance to actually put it on Instagram as a reel, take that little clip of you responding to their comment or your thoughts on that or whatever the hell, you know what I'm saying? And you could even tag them since you're on the original platform that they reached out to you. Whew, that's genius. Good lord.
Yeah, exactly. It's all about maximizing each piece of content and creating a loop of engagement. You can repurpose that long form piece into multiple short clips for different platforms, keeping the momentum going. Tagging fans not only boosts visibility, but also makes them feel special, encouraging more engagement and content creation. It's a ripple effect. One piece of content turns into many opportunities to connect and grow your community. Plus, it's a fun way to show fans that you truly appreciate them.
Yeah, and to kind of go on top of that, it's not one of those things where you're just doing this just to get one over on people to act like you are interested or to make them feel like they're special because they're special. They're fucking special, man. These are your listeners, your fans, the people that are actually engaging with you. And to this day, it still feels like I just woke up from a dream. Like people are actually engaging with my shit. Like it's still it hits me in my heart. You feel me? Like all of that sappy shit. Like that's why I love making music. Not the only reason, of course, but man, it's a good feeling when it's like, wow, people are actually responding to this. And then depending on how deep the messages are that come in, man, they really are messages sometimes that you'll never forget. Like you'll never forget how you actually impacted somebody through your art. And this is something for so many of us, at least for me, where I dreamed about that. Like I said, so it's like I almost feel like I'm waking up from a dream when I get messages like that. So being able to capitalize on this, of course, make the content, make it feel like it is a leveraging move because it is. You are able to get that one long form and then 20 pieces of short form and actually add to your ecosystem. Yes, it's still a business. You are able to get that transaction out of it, but don't take the magic out of it. Don't take the authenticity out of it. Don't forget that these are people. These aren't just usernames. These aren't just at, you know what I mean? I love your music 123. This is an actual person that has their own life and their own fucking shit that they're dealing with. But I'm sorry. I had to go out on, my own little tangent for a second. So just to kind of summarize for us real quick, you're an artist that wants to get as many streams as possible. The first thing that you want to do is double down on everything that works. From there, you can create a whole bunch of short form content, and you don't want to just create content around your music. You also want to create like behind the scenes, maybe some Q&As, maybe even responding to the DMs and comments like we were just talking about. And from there, you're able to pull in a whole bunch of different pieces of content and create a whole bunch of different connections in different ways. All right. And after all of that, are there any more steps, or is it kind of like one of those where you just rinse and repeat and you wait for that snowball to get bigger, like you were talking about earlier?
You've summed it up perfectly. Once you've got those foundational steps down, it's about consistency and refinement. Keep experimenting, seeing what works, and listening to your audience. As the snowball grows, you can explore more opportunities, collabs, live shows, merch, and beyond. The key is to stay true to yourself and your fans. Keep that authenticity at the core and enjoy the ride. It's a journey, and every step forward counts.
Okay. Let's say because I'm loving this approach. I mean, to be honest, it's basically what I feel like a lot of us know we're supposed to do. And let's say that I don't want to say that, it's 2025. Let's say that there isn't an artist right now that realistically is trying to get streams and stuff like that is resistant to doing so by making content online. Like, they have probably already drank the Kool-Aid and realized like, hey, this is something I'm going to have to capitalize on. Let's just throw it out that we're dealing with somebody that's like, nah, man, fuck the internet. I'm going to do it true. Let's say we have somebody though that does want to double dip. Yes, I want to do all of that short form content, but I also want to make extra content and do extra marketing and create extra connections by doing in real life interactions. So let's say you're that artist. You want to do live shows. You want to maybe even do local meet and greets. I mean, I've thought of maybe doing different performances at parties and maybe private performances and shit like that. But that's not necessarily what a lot of artists are thinking about. Yes, a gig is a gig is a gig and you can practice. But let's say eventually I want to sell out shows in my local city, eventually have to branch out and go on tour. I'm not just doing this online. Where do we go from there? Because yes, streams are going to happen and we want streams to happen. Again, that's how we're able to continue to expand our ecosystem. How would we start, assuming we're an artist that has had no sort of momentum built and has no sort of leverage, is just a person in a regular degular town and with regular degular budget and just wants to make a name in their city and start out with some in real life events? How would this artist start?
For an artist looking to build locally and expand into live shows, the first step is to get embedded in your local scene. Start by attending shows, open mics, and networking with other musicians and venue owners. Offer to open for other artists or play at local events to get your foot in the door. Consider hosting small, intimate gigs, house shows, backyard concerts, or even pop-up performances. These build a grassroots following and create buzz. Partner with local businesses, coffee shops, record stores, or art galleries for unique venues. Promote these events through social media, local press, and word of mouth. As you gain traction, you can scale up to bigger venues and eventually hit the road. The key is to be present, build relationships, and make each show a memorable experience for your audience.
Okay. That basically sums up a lot of the different advice that I've gotten over the years. And I'm liking that. And I do want to circle back to this in a second.
For sure, we can dive back into it whenever you're ready.
I don't know. I had like I'm sorry, like I don't know, like Alexa or something. I think my daughter's tablet just like spoke out, talking about unlock the device. My bad for the interruption, but I want to circle back to what you're talking about with the live performances in a second. But for right now, I kind of just want to keep drilling down, assuming that, yes, I'll follow all of the advice that you just gave me to book shows and start out with open mics and collaborate with other people and blase blase. How does that translate to more streams? How do I get more streams from that? Am I doing business cards, or am I just telling people go stream me? I'm artist 125 on Spotify. You know what I mean? What is the tactical steps to get this outcome that we want?
Great question. The key is to make every live interaction count. For starters, having something tangible like business cards or QR codes can help. Make it easy for people to find your music on the spot. During shows, engage with your audience, share stories about your songs, and encourage them to follow you on social media right then and there. Create a memorable experience so they leave wanting more. Also, capture content from your performances. Share it online to bridge the gap between in-person and online audiences. Lastly, follow up. If you get emails or social media handles, send a thank you message or exclusive content to keep the connection going. It's about turning those live moments into lasting relationships.
Okay, I like that. So I guess in terms of that, let's say we want to create those connections, and of course, I mean, one of the first things you hear once you start looking into how do I market my music, how do I get more fans, and things of that nature, one of the first things that you hear is that you should get into email marketing or even SMS marketing, where you get their phone numbers. Is this a better route? I mean, you're saying that, of course, you want them to go across platforms, and we can still do the same strategies as before, but is it better to actually go ahead and start collecting these in the long run? Or in 2025, is this kind of a dated strategy that the, modern artist probably doesn't have to actually do?
Email and SMS marketing definitely aren't outdated. They're still powerful tools in 2025. They give you direct access to your fans without relying on algorithms. Plus, they allow for personalized communication. Think exclusive updates, early access to new music, or special offers. It's about balance. Use social media to attract and engage. Then funnel the most dedicated fans into your email or SMS list for deeper connection. So yeah, it's still worth collecting those contacts.
Okay then. Um, well, yeah, it's still collecting those contacts. Um, all right. Well, I guess we could on another episode maybe talk about the benefits and the pros and cons between email and SMS. But all right, is that, if let's say you're getting their contact information, whether it is email or SMS, is that kind of like the bottom of the funnel? Like, all right, you might catch me on YouTube, you might catch me on Instagram, TikTok, any of these other platforms, but at the end of the day, once you get to the bottom of the funnel, that means I have your phone number or your email. Is that right, or is there like another step that we could take it?
You're spot on. That's pretty much the bottom of the funnel. Once you have their email or phone number, you've got a direct line to your most dedicated fans. From there, it's about nurturing those relationships with exclusive content, early releases, and personal updates. That's where you can really drive home your message and keep them engaged. If there's another step, it's turning those dedicated fans into superfans who support you through merch, crowdfunding, or attending shows. But yeah, once you've got their contact info, you're in a strong position to keep building that connection.
Okay. And all right, now circling back, like I said I would, about the live performance, and I'm not at all going to take credit for this whatsoever, because it was actually in an interview that I saw, where Wendy Day was being interviewed. And if you don't know who Wendy Day is, she was like a manager for Eminem. She is one of the three hosts of the Cheat Code podcast, and she knows what the hell she's talking about when it comes to music marketing, music business, and she's been in the business for a long time. That being said, Wendy Day ended up saying something that stuck with me when it came to live performances. Is if you are going to do any sort of targeted, like ads or marketing, or let's say you are trying to do a show, is to stay within 6 hours of where you live. And I think she called it like the 6 hour strategy or 6 hour method, whatever. Either way, thinking of driving wise, could you get to these different cities or states within 6 hours? And like I'm in Georgia, so like I mapped it out. That's like Georgia, Florida, Alabama, South, and North Carolina, and that was basically it. So if I wanted to run ads, or I'm thinking as an artist, like I want to tour one day, the best thing I could do is get as many fans in these states or cities that are in a 6 hour radius. Again, it's not actually contradicting anything that you said. It was just something that I had heard years ago from Wendy Day. I haven't heard her say it at all in any of the Cheat Code podcasts, and she may have, but that was something, I think that may have been the most genius piece of advice that I had gotten from her ever. So I wanted to put that caveat on that. What do you think about the 6 hour strategy?
The 6 hour strategy is a smart, practical approach, especially for artists starting out with live shows. It keeps things manageable and cost effective, while still allowing you to tap into multiple markets. By focusing on nearby cities and states, you can build a solid regional fan base, which is crucial for building momentum. Plus, as you grow, those fans become your foundation for expanding further. It's a great way to test the waters before committing to longer tours. Combining this with targeted ads and social media engagement in those areas can amplify your presence and boost those streams.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, I just wanted to kind of, I guess, get your 2 cents on that. I already had a feeling that the advice from Miss Wendy Day was super genius. Definitely a fan of hers. But I guess kind of going back to what you were talking about though, where after it is the rinse and repeat, and yes, all of the different strategies when it comes to live performances. But once you get their contact information, the number one goal that you should have is to convert these people into super fans. And quoting you, you said you could do that by doing merch, getting them to come out to live performances, and maybe even crowdfunding, which I personally, it's a little questionable for me. I think I just don't believe in the whole crowdfunding thing. And if it is going to be a crowdfunding, I'd want it to be in a way where it benefits them. Let's come up with some sort of product, especially with like Shopify and stuff like that. If it is your merch, cool. I mean, I've done it. I've gotten like my logo on a hat and on a shirt and shit like that. I just feel like it's low hanging fruit. But if you can come up with some sort of product to end up monetizing the fan base that you already have, and I guess monetizing sounds a little bit like transactional, but I like that approach better than just crowdfunding. Hey, give me money because you believe in me. It's like, you know what I mean? I believe in a lot of things, bro. But yeah, so you are trying to make them a super fan. You're trying to, whether that is merch, crowdfunding, or live events. Is that kind of the gist of it? You're doing all of this rinse and repeat. Once you have gotten to the intimate level of getting their contact information, you're trying to rinse and repeat there as well to turn them into a super fan. And from there, that's our best shot as a music artist to get as many streams as possible. Is that right?
Yeah, you've got it right. The goal is to nurture those initial connections into something deeper. Whether it's through merch, unique products, or live experiences, it's all about offering value and building a loyal community. Crowdfunding can work if there's a clear benefit to the fans, but it's all about authenticity. The more genuine and valuable your offerings, the more likely fans are to stick around and support you. And ultimately, that loyalty translates into streams, shares, and a sustainable music career.
I got you. Well, I really appreciate it. Hopefully, this is something that people can take notes on and that they can implement. It had a whole bunch of tactical advice put in there, just kind of like you promised. There's no fluff or anything like that. Let's say, just kind of wrapping up though, is there anything that an artist should take away from this before they click off of the video?
Absolutely. The key takeaway: stay authentic and consistent. Focus on building genuine connections with your audience, whether online or in person. Experiment with different strategies, but always keep your core message and values at the center of everything you do. And remember, success isn't just about numbers. It's about creating something meaningful that resonates with people.